Hi, I'm Nino, and welcome to Brave Enough to Fail, where I kind of feel like that's what I'm doing lately. But I'm going to take you through a little bit of what's going on with the house. And so let's go ahead and kind of take a look. So I'm going to kind of show you a bit of what's going on. So we have some video where you can see that there's some tiles that we have picked out. I'm actually going to take a moment to even show you what the layout is, but the tile that I had just picked up, let me kind of pause this and I'll show you what I did. So that tile that I had just picked up was one that we were thinking about using, and so it's got three different tiles. There's a light tile, a dark tile, and one that is split. And so we were thinking of using the light tile on the floor, the dark tile on the bottom two, maybe three rows on the wall, and then having some sort of design. So I was kind of playing around with a couple different designs, and so this is some educational software that I use. It's kind of playing around with this idea, although this was something more along these lines was kind of being thought of, something a bit more random, and of course trying to figure out costs. And then the other tile that we had picked out over here is that you can kind of see down. Down on the floor. So for that one, you'd see something like this, where we have the subway tiles. There's probably a lighter tile of some kind on the floor. It doesn't have to be a subway. And then three different shades where it's randomized on the wall, dark on the floor to create some contrast, and it would be like that through the shower area. Since we've kind of gone a different route, we've actually ordered and gotten our tile. And we're going to go still with something darker along the bottom of the wall and then lighter at the top and light on the floor. But it's going to be something that has a little bit more of a sort of a concrete look to it, and a little bit more of a sort of almost natural look of some kind, but all in the gray tones. And so we're going to be taking that route. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of the destructive ways in which we had things going. So let's go ahead and play through this. I started off by taking apart the shower assembly. Oh, the joys! And while Swapna was kind of off in the other room, and she was dealing some work with we obviously ripped up the carpet. I'm not going to get into that this week because that's something that we had done another time. I had taken some of the carpet padding, plugged up the holes of the drains, so that way I didn't have too much. Shh, Swapna heard noise. Now, in retrospect, I should have gotten a hammer kit, which is essentially a hammer drill, but without the rotation. And so there was a lot of hammering with the big sort of, it's like a mini sledge. See, I took out the wall, and it was even making like GoPro fall, which is why I lost some footage. And in the meantime, we had our hardwood floors delivered. Oh, yes. Every single time that I've had something delivered like this, I see this guy go to the edge of his tailgate, and it just looks like he's going to fall over. I went with realcheapfloors.com. I did the same guys when I did my last house, and in the last house I did what's called a cabin grade, or a rustic grade. I think in this case we did a cabin grade. Oh, somebody's happy. And the smile on her face when the hardwoods showed up. So we did they're maple 5-inch wide boards, and the cabin grade, they're good boards, but there's variation in the size. There's a little bit more knots, but certainly a reasonable price. I think delivered it was like $280 a foot for 1,500 square feet. So definitely very reasonable. At the shipping, it showed up within 3 or 4 days. So realcheapfloors.com, they've treated me really well. So back to the bathroom. And you'll see that our communication styles are different, or the ways that we go about things are different. Swapna always wants to know exactly what's going to happen ahead of time. She wants a plan, and I'm just swinging by the seat of my pants. I just want to do it, man.
Give me the exact way of the thing. We get it up. We stand on it.
And right here I noticed that there's a 2x6 or 2x8 that's nailed from underneath to the bottom of the tub. And there's even nails coming through the subfloor upwards, which I didn't even realize right away. It was later I stepped on a nail, and luckily I only felt the tip through my shoe. I got super lucky on that one. Let me pause this for a second. I just want to let you know something ahead of time. Now, I did not turn off the main line. All I did is I had turned off the, in fact, I can even go back just a little bit. I had turned off the valves, and I figured, hey, those are turned off. I obviously removed the sort of spigot, and I figured that'd be fine as long as those don't get turned on, because why would those get turned on? So yeah, we removed the tub. Nothing could possibly go wrong here.
You can turn towards me. You can let go of it. You can let go of it.
It was at this moment he knew. He f***ed up.
What? The water!
Yeah, so there was some cleanup on aisle 3. Luckily, it wasn't too bad. Just try to get the drywall so that way it wasn't soaking through, and avoided complete catastrophe, but not by much. So luckily the valve didn't open up completely, and I was able to get in there and dry up whatever had filled. And you notice I was standing in there. I was lucky. There's like 4 nails that I didn't notice at that time. Then I had come back through, and I wanted to cap these water lines, so I did shut off the main. And in fact, what I had done is I had gone into the basement and put in some compression valves into the lines that are coming into this part of the house, so I could actually section off parts of the house. And what I'm doing is I'm putting in what's called a shark bite onto these. They're caps, and I'll show you what they are here. But you got to sand everything really well. Then always sand, then cut your pipe. That's always the better way to go about it. After cutting the pipe, I'm then sanding over and running off the top. So that way the shark bite can actually go on, and you don't want to force it on. You want to make it so you can actually get that thing put on without. There's like a rubber seal there, and the water pressure is what actually creates that pressure. You'll see if they really push it down the whole way. I don't even know if I have it on there the whole way there. I know the next one here I do. I get it on completely. You have to get it on straight. Be careful of that, because I've messed these things up before, and they're not cheap at all. So you can see how that one actually had to get pressed down even further. And then what I usually will do is I'll pull back up on them a little bit, because it's the water pressure that will hold them on tight. I did the same thing with with where the shower was, so I had to remove all of this. And yeah, I know you're thinking, why didn't you just buy the hammer kit? Now, I'm certainly a person I would much rather get the right tools. That's the way I've always been. I don't know why I was so resistant to buying a hammer kit. I've since bought one, and in any future tile, I will take care of that. I'll show you here how you would remove that shark bite. So I ran sand over the edge, make sure there's no sharp bits, put on the shark bite, and you'll notice that there's like this ring, and there's actually a special clip you can buy, so that way you can push up that ring, and the shark bite will come off, obviously with no water pressure. So then, once I can turn the water on and have water back to the rest of the house, away we go with more demolition. Now, this thing was glued and nailed and screwed, and it I'm really finding that with this house. This is sped up like I don't even know how many times. It's got to be sped up in 80 times probably. So you can see how much trouble I had getting all this off. I have several crowbars having at it, and it was a heck of a job to do. again, there was even more nails there. I went up stepping on more that were poking up through the subfloor. And the subfloor, at some point, I realized is its own beast. That's something I'll actually get into next week, what I had discovered, because it's a snowball effect of problems. But subfloors are, ugh. We took out the vanity. I actually wound up taking this vanity and piecing it back together in the garage and taking a couple of movers dollies and setting it on those. That way I actually have a bit of a workbench in the garage. And so it's movable, it's on wheels, the whole bit. And that actually has turned out to be pretty nice. The mirror I wound up taking off since as well. I wound up cutting it down the middle first, thinking I would break apart. Wish I hadn't done that because the whole thing just kind of came off the wall off in one piece. So I had it all kind of carefully having to like take it down while it's all in that one piece. And so we had gotten a dumpster, obviously taking all these things out. I'd given away a lot of things. I wish I could have given away the mirror. Even that glass surround for the shower, I wound up giving that away. And there was a lot of leftover parts that from the previous owner, things that I was able to kind of give away on Facebook Marketplace. And that's something more that I'll get into next week. And so not a lot to get into on this one. This is actually a few weeks worth of work release when it comes down to, but I don't think you guys want to get into too much in the demo. But man, it's you can see here I'm actually using this is a hammer kit. However, this is more of like a concrete tool rather than, the hammer kits are usually a bit smaller. And this thing is just too big for this job. It's an old machine too. It's a heck of a machine, but it's too big, and so I've gotten something that's a bit more manageable since. And really that's kind of pretty much about close up things. So I'll just say that for now, I hope that you guys kind of enjoy seeing where things are going. I know this really wasn't too exciting, but I'll hopefully have something a little bit better for you soon. And so stick with me on this project because trust me, things that have happened, there's issues that you are going to see, and I hope that you can kind of feel my stress with me a little bit in a good way. Let me just say that let's make plywood cheap again. That's what I have to say about that, because the floors are an issue that I will address next week. So stick with me and we'll get more into it. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you later.